Martell has to face the court. And let me tell you, this is one of the most talked about situations in Huntsville right now. The energy around this court date is huge because the outcome could really change things, not just for Martell, but also for Melody and their entire co-parenting situation. And if you've been following this journey, you already know there's been so much back and forth, so much drama, and so much that hasn't been resolved. That's why today we're doing the countdown. We're breaking everything down. We're going to talk about what could happen, what people are saying, and why this court date is such a big deal. And make sure you stay with me until the very end because I promise you, there's some details you don't want to miss. And by the time we finish, you'll have a whole new perspective on this entire situation. Now, let's talk about why this October 15th court date is so important. Martell has been told by the judge to take certain steps. He's been ordered to do evaluations. He's been asked to do counseling. It's not only for himself, but also with his son and then with all of his children together. But the question that everybody is asking is this: has he done it? Has Martell actually followed through on what the court asked him to do? Because if he hasn't, then October 15th could be the day that consequences finally come down on him. And y'all know, this is not the first time the court has asked Martell to do something. The judge has been very clear. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, there are going to be consequences. So a lot of people believe that this time around, the judge is going to be fed up and will finally make a move that could shake everything. And that's why we're doing this countdown. Because we are all waiting to see if Martell is going to face real accountability this time. Stick with me because the deeper we go into this, the more it's going to make sense why people are saying October 15th. It's about to be explosive. And while we're on this countdown, let's talk about the cast members because you can't bring up Martell's court case without bringing in Melody. Melody has been through a lot, and she's been dealing with this for years now. From the divorce to the co-parenting struggles, to Martell's constant back and forth. It's been holding it down not only as a mom, but also as a businesswoman and a star on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. And honestly, many fans feel like she deserves some peace. She deserves some closure. And she deserves to have this chapter of back and forth with Martell finally settled in a way that allows her to move forward. That's why so many people are hoping that this court date goes in her favor. That's why you're hearing folks say, we're manifesting justice for Melody. And that's why the countdown feels like something that the entire fan base is invested in. Y'all need to keep watching because I'm about to take you through the history of how we even got here. And I promise you, it's going to connect all the dots in a way that makes October 15th even more important. Now, let's go back for a moment. When Love and Marriage Huntsville first started, we were introduced to the S, Martell and Melody, as this power couple. They had businesses, they had kids, they were building an empire together. But as time went on, we learned about Martell's cheating and the other woman, Ariane Curry, and everything started to unravel. That cheating storyline became one of the biggest plots on the show, and it was the start of all the drama we see now. Melody eventually filed for divorce, and since then, it has been a roller coaster of ups and downs, court battles, and disagreements. And here we are years later, still talking about Martell, still talking about custody issues, and still wondering if the court will finally put an end to some of this mess. That's why October 15th matters. That's why fans are locked in, because it feels like the conclusion of years of drama. And listen, I'm just getting started, so don't go anywhere because the more we break down Martell's history, the more clear it becomes why this court date could change everything. And let's not forget the other cast members because they all play a part in this bigger picture. We've got Marsa and Tisha Scott, who have had their own share of drama but are always somehow connected to Martell's storylines. We've got Maurice and Kimmy Scott, who try to play the role of peacemakers but sometimes end up in the middle of the mess too. And of course, we can't forget Destiny Payton, who has had her own falling out with Melody but was also close to Martell. All of these people add to the energy surrounding Martell's case because everybody has an opinion. And everybody has been watching to see what happens. Some of them want Martell to finally be held accountable, and some of them might even quietly be rooting for him. But either way, this court date has cast a shadow over the entire group. And that's why if you're a fan of Love and Marriage Huntsville, you have to watch until the end because this court date isn't just about Martell. It's about how it could impact the entire cast and the entire show moving forward. Now, I know a lot of you are wondering about this judge that everybody's been talking about. There's this other judge handling Trish and Marquis' case. And people are saying he is no nonsense, straight to the point. And not afraid to put people in jail if they don't follow his orders. Fans are saying, why can't Melody and Martell get this judge? Because if they did, maybe all of this back and forth would have ended already. This judge doesn't play. If you don't do what he tells you, you're going straight to jail. Simple as that. And people feel like that's exactly the kind of judge Martell needs in his life. Because, let's be honest, how many times has Martell been told to do the evaluation? How many times has he been told to do counseling? And yet, here we are, still asking the same questions. That's why this countdown is so important. Because October 15th might finally be the day when the judge gets tired and says enough is enough. And if that happens, trust me, it's going to be a turning point not just for Martell, but for the entire dynamic on the show. Stay with me, because I'm about to get into what people are predicting might actually go down on October 15th. Some people believe that Martell could face real consequences this time. If he hasn't done what the court asked, he could be held in contempt. And contempt means jail time, fines, or losing privileges. Imagine if Martell actually loses privileges when it comes to his kids. Imagine if the judge says you didn't do the evaluation. You didn't do counseling, so now you're losing your rights until you comply. That would change everything. That would shift the power dynamic completely. And if that happens, Melody might finally get the justice she's been asking for. Fans have been saying they want Melody to have peace. They want her to be able to raise her kids without the constant stress of Martell not following the rules. And honestly, if Martell is really punished this time, it could finally bring some peace into Melody's life. That's why October 15th is so important. That's why everybody is waiting for this countdown. And that's why I need you to watch until the very end. Because I'm about to break down not just what could happen, but how it could impact the entire cast moving forward. We are on the road to October 15th, and you already know what that means. That is the big day. The day Martell has to face the court, and everybody is watching to see what happens. I'm telling you right now, this is one of the biggest moments we've seen coming for a long time. And it could change everything about Martell's life, Melody's life, and even the way the whole Love and Marriage Huntsville cast moves going forward. So make sure you stay right here with me until the very end, because I promise you don't want to miss a single detail about what's about to go down. We've been through so much with Martell over the years, and this court date feels like it's been a long time coming. The judge has asked him to do evaluations. The judge has asked him to do counseling. Not just for himself, but also for him and his son. And for him and all of his kids as a group. But here's the thing. How many times has Martell actually been told to do this? Over and over again. And yet, here we are, still waiting to see if he actually followed through. That's why this October 15th date is so critical. Because if Martell hasn't done what he was supposed to do, then there might finally be some consequences. And y'all know this judge isn't playing. If you don't do what the court orders you to do, there's only so much patience a judge can have. And this time, people are saying enough might finally be enough. Keep watching, because I'm going to break down not only the court side of things, but also the way this connects back to all the cast members, all the drama, and why this date could be explosive for everybody involved. And of course, at the center of all this is Melody. We can't talk about Martell's court drama without talking about Melody. Because she has been dealing with this situation for years now. Melody has been through the divorce, the cheating, the drama with Ariane Curry, the constant battles over the kids, and the stress of having to go back and forth with Martell even after trying to move on with her life. She's been holding things down as a mom, a businesswoman, and a cast member. But let's be real, she deserves peace. That's why so many people are hoping that October 15th is finally the day where she gets some justice. where the court says enough is enough, and where Martell has to face real accountability. And let me tell you, the fans are manifesting this. Every day that we count down closer to October 15th, people are saying they're sending prayers. People are saying they're sending prayers.